morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name's Sam.
My name's Ren.
And that's that. And it's happened once again. Yet again, it has happened.
Yet again.
There is spooky news
What?
for March 2025. It didn't stop. Every time we come to it, we think it's not going to happen this time. And then it happens.
Wow.
Every single time.
Well, how spooky was March?
Well, you'll be interested to know, right? You know how normally UFOs is a big section.
Chunky.
Big and chunky. This time, there's only one UFO story.
What do you mean?
Just the one. And you want to know, guess what's the biggest section this time?
Oh, is it Bigfoot?
It is cryptozoology. There's tons of them. I don't know what's happened in March, but...
Whoa.
Before we start that, though,
Oh.
I saw something, I read it the other day.
Read
And
it?
I thought I'm going to bring this up.
Okay.
I was perusing the paranormal subreddits, specifically the r/paranormal encounters. And
I thought you said arse then.
r/.
The r/.
And I came across this post and I thought, this will be good to talk about right now.
All
Like
right.
this. It's titled, "A Spirit Touched My Gland."
Which gland?
Let me read through it.
I'm ready.
Has anybody been touched by a spirit? I felt what I can only assume was a spirit touch my gland in bed last night. Initially thought it was my partner, but having had a good think about the scenario, I very much doubt that it was.
You never know.
Right. So some of the comments expand a bit further so we can know what the hell he's actually talking about. Someone said, ... your gland. Our bodies have many, many glands, so you may need to be more specific, though I'm not sure I want you to be more specific. And he replied to it saying, the love-making gland.
Oh.
So the love-making gland is where we're at. Someone commented on that saying, the love-making gland is one of the grossest things I've ever heard. Someone thought you meant glands as the head of the penis, because the penis is not, because it's an organ, not a gland.
Right.
And then I think he was frustrated that no one was, someone said, your gland, ? And he said, yes, my length.
Wow.
And I think he was getting frustrated that no one understood what he's talking about. So he made his own reply, not replying to anyone else, just saying, testes and penis.
Right. Well, that's what you get, innit?
So then
I love that this is where we've kicked off this podcast with
so hopefully
testes
everyone
and penis.
understands. A ghost touched his love-making gland.
His love-making gland. What a way to say it.
Yeah.
His love-making gland.
Thing is, it could be a troll post, but he said it quite sincerely. You know what I mean? Usually
And what
you
did
can
they do
tell.
to it? Just touched it.
They touched his gland. Yeah.
And why don't they think it was his missus?
He's just had a thought about it and decided it wasn't.
No, she didn't do that. She hadn't done that for years.
Testes and penis.
Not the testes and penis. Oh my.
Right.
We'll just read them celeb ghost stories we've read. They're all getting...
They're all
freaky,
getting
aren't they?
touched, aren't they? Right. Let's get into it now.
Let's jump in.
With that out the way. So we're going to do the usual. Start with the big three. Ghosts, UFOs, and cryptozoology.
Yep.
First up, we've got the ghosts. Sorry, one for ghosts.
I'm ready.
Yvette Fielding's house is haunted.
Right.
You know Yvette Fielding?
I can't remember.
From Most Haunted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the TV show Most Haunted.
I recognised the name.
She's the lead host of that. The source for this story is Yahoo News.
Yahoo!
The 56-year-old presenter hosted the paranormal show Most Haunted and various other programs centered on poltergeists. It's not just poltergeists, but that's all it says in this article. But has claimed that she and her husband Carl Beatty had a close encounter with the spirits at their 17th century Cheshire property and were even watched dancing in their kitchen by the ghouls.
Wow. That's embarrassing as well. You don't want to be caught dancing in your kitchen. That is the worst dancing, isn't it? That's just, you're unhinged, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dancing is lame.
Hey, no,
Yvette,
you're not getting what I'm saying.
Yvette told the Daily Mirror newspaper, most of them came through and told us their names and confirmed they had each lived in the house. They all adored the house and wanted to continue living there with us. They told us they liked it when Carl and I danced in the kitchen. It was funny to think they had been watching us and enjoying it. While Yvette adores her beautiful home, She admits that she wouldn't have bought it if she'd known about the ghostly presence, and it means she can't escape her TV work. The former Blue Peter star explained, would we have bought the house if we knew it was haunted? Certainly not. I spent most of my time investigating haunted locations. The last thing I needed was to live in one.
That's a good point, that.
Fielding
you
explained
bring work
that
home with you.
the most frightening ghost in the house is a dark hooded figure who haunts the couple's bedroom. She said, apparently, if he doesn't like you, he'll wake you up by staring right into your face as you sleep. Guests have woken up screaming with this ghostly face pressed against theirs.
Pressed against it.
And that is the story. So I think it's interesting that she says, apparently this ghost does this. And it's like, well, it's in your house. You're talking to him.
Yeah.
Why don't you know? What do you mean apparently?
You're the expert, love.
So what do you think? Have you watched any Most Haunted?
Don't think so.
So you have no real opinion on
No.
Most Haunted? I mean, obviously, could be fake, could not be fake, whatever. But they did have Derek Akara as their psychic medium, their resident psychic medium.
That's a psychic sound.
And they had their resident skeptic as well.
Mm-hmm.
Put fake names out there as history for the places they were investigating. And then Derek Akara got possessed by these fake people.
Right.
So in-house, they called him out.
Debunked.
So in some ways, that lends them credibility.
Yeah.
But in other ways, it's like, well, what about what's going on there? Why have you got that guy doing that? It doesn't, I don't know. She says she wouldn't have bought the house if she didn't know it was haunted, but surely every house is going to be haunted, really.
And surely, if that's what you do, you sort of like, hey, is there any hauntings in this house? Like, she would you not?
Surely she'd be able to catch some really good evidence.
If it's like
she's living with it day to day.
Yeah, it's so often on your mind. I would. Is this house haunted? I didn't ask that question.
Never seen it.
This time.
Well, there was that gate. The gate incident.
Oh, the haunted gate.
Yeah.
We brought that in. In fact, we'll have to speak to Jake about that because Jake built that gate.
He built it with haunted wood.
I think you're onto something there. So.
Could be. So that's all the story. Is there any other thoughts before I move on?
No. Feel bad for her though. Yeah, I get it. You don't want to bring work home with you, do you?
She'll get over it, I'm sure.
Ah, yeah.
She shouldn't seem that fussed. Right, next story. Waterford Museum calls in ghost hunters following eerie occurrences.
Ooh.
Source for this is the Irish Examiner.
All right, let's go.
A Waterford museum, believed to be a hotspot for paranormal activity, has enlisted the help of ghost hunters following reports of eerie occurrences at the venue. Ghost Eerie, or Eerie, I'm not totally sure how it's pronounced. I'm going to go with Eerie. An Irish-based paranormal team that claims to make contact with spirits through a mix of scientific and traditional methods, conducted a months-long investigation into the bizarre happenings, which were reported at the Wake Museum on Cathedral Square. The probe came after unsettling accounts of children's reflections being spotted in glass cabinets.
Absolutely not.
Housing mourning jewellery and commemorating the deceased. Such items were popular during the Georgian era between 1714 and 1837, when the mortality rate was high, particularly among children.
Oh,
Much of the jewellery on display at the Wake Museum was made to commemorate very young kids and had profound symbolic and emotional significance for their owners. They contain real human hair for keepsake from a time before the widespread introduction of photography.
Oh, God.
Museum curator Cleona Purcell said that a number of people, including tour guides, tradespeople and visitors, had all reported witnessing paranormal activity in the venue. Around the same time as these occurrences were being reported, Anthony Kerrigan of Ghost Eerie got in contact to see if he could visit the museum and explore Ireland's fascination with death and its customs. Some members of staff, particularly those who have been opening up by themselves, have seen reflections of children in the glass, said Miss Purcell. We had carpenters and stonemasons working in the building. Even they had stories, but it always seemed to come back to children. One of the most prominent families who lived in the house were the Roberts family in Waterford. John Roberts was a Waterford architect, and his wife Mary had more than 20 children during the course of their marriage, but only 8 of them survived to adulthood. There were definitely kids who passed away within these walls. Other signs of paranormal activities also sparked curiosity in the museum. There have also been other incidents that couldn't be explained, said Miss Purcell. The electronics go a bit funny at times. Some of the stories come from visitors who would have considered themselves skeptics. We have even had a couple of people faint in the room. We're excited to hear about the results of Anthony's investigation to see what he had found. We're not really sure what to expect. As part of their investigation, Anthony Kerrigan and his team from Ghost Eerie held a seance in the building. While they failed to make contact with any of the ghost children, they say they uncovered some disturbing clues as to what may have gone on. Words spelled out on a Ouija board suggest that the building may have been used as a brothel in a previous life, according to Anthony.
Right.
He said that one of the spirits they made contact with made reference to the Irish brothel Monto, which, having 1,600 sex workers employed at the time, served as Europe's largest red light district between 1860 and 1925.
Wow.
Hidden away in Dublin's north inner city, the establishment was known for its cruel treatment of women who worked there.
Oh,
Anthony
God.
explained the possible link between Monto and previous uses of Waterford Museum, which is housed in a 15th century almshouse. The word Monto came up during a Ouija session, so it's our belief that the spirit had some connection with this place, he said. Weak connection, but there you go. A lot of people from high society would meet at Monto. Even the King of England was said to have lost his virginity there. When we asked the entity how we could recognise them, they said, dirt. From what we understand, this was a woman of Asian heritage who had been beaten there. Early signs we are seeing is that there was a matriarchal presence overseeing what was going on. This suggests to us that it may have been a madam, so it might have been a brothel at one point. The team, I feel like there's a lot of really tenuous connections there. They're really trying to string it together with not very much. The team also made use of modern technology during their investigations. For the fifth experiment, we did an identity test experiment using software technology called Faces, said Anthony. It's similar to technology used on programs like Crime Call and Crime Watch UK. The various features suggest that the woman we made contact with was of Asian descent. I'd be very interested to speak with someone with historical knowledge of the building who might be able to shed light on this for us. Anthony said that the ghosts typically portrayed both in literature and new media are far removed from what's experienced in a real seance. What's portrayed in Shakespeare's plays and the work of W.B. Yeats does not really reflect what we see or experience, he said. Cameras are no good at catching ghosts. Audio is more reliable, so paranormal investigators get better results this way. We're talking about tapping into an alternative consciousness or dimension that we are unaware of. We've asked ourselves questions using models of the brain, such as what part shuts down after we die and which part carries on afterwards. There is a theory that one part of the brain never shuts down and reboots in another realm, going from the physical to the spiritual. Another way to detect the presence of spirits, Anthony says, is through monitoring changes in the atmosphere. Some of the things we look at during the seances are drafts and changes in temperature, as this can indicate another presence in the room, and the Ghost Eerie team all experienced headaches during our investigations. So that's the story for you.
Right.
What do you think about that?
A lot of rubbish.
A lot of rubbish. You don't believe the haunted museum in Ireland?
I don't know.
What do you think about the sort of shadows of children in the
That
cabinets?
would freak me the fuck out.
Couple of people fainting as well.
Yeah.
See, their ideas during their investigation of what they find and then linking that to what it could be is a bit tenuous. But presumably these are very real experiences people have had in this place.
Yeah. I'm fully believing that bit. But all that bollocks about the brothel and that, I'm like,
if you were to try and explain the shadows of children that they're seeing in the glass in a non-supernatural grounded way, if you were trying to give a logical explanation for it, what could you think of? Is there anything you could think of?
I don't know.
See, they don't specify.
Where are they seeing them? Is it like reflections, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let me scroll back a bit, but I'm pretty sure it was just reflections, like shadowy reflections in the glass. Unsettling accounts of children's reflections being spotted in glass cabinets housing mourning jewellery commemorating the deceased. So
it's the hair that was were like spooking me as well. Like
yeah, because they contain hair. But it doesn't specify whether or not these reflections, did they see them move? As in, was there something there, or was it just a stationary thing, like maybe it's a chair, you know what I mean, that at the right angle, you could mistake
Yeah,
for a person.
maybe, yeah.
I'm not sure, but if they move, that makes it into a whole
Yeah.
different thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're saying the shadowy, so it's not like a super clear image of it necessarily. But some of them may have had more distinguishable features.
Yeah,
Yeah?
maybe.
You ever seen a shadow of anything that shouldn't be there? Any weird reflections?
Not that I know of, I don't think.
No?
No.
Never?
I can't say never. I might have just forgot about it.
Well, it sounds to me more like you've repressed it than forgotten it.
That's very true. That could be the case.
Wow.
No, I don't know.
That might be a place. Maybe we should go to Ireland at some point. It says it's in Dublin, so it's a very easy touristy place to go. Maybe one year we should go on a holiday to Dublin.
Yeah.
Maybe we visit
Do
this
some
place.
ghost hunting.
That could be interesting.
I'll be down.
Don't know when that might happen though.
Who knows?
Don't get your hopes up because
Keep them low.
Who knows? But maybe, fingers crossed. Anything else to say before we move on?
No.
Okay. Well, believe it or not, that's everything for ghosts.
What?
Just them two.
I was right with my guess of Bigfoot then, wasn't I? I know you already
were.
confirmed cryptozoology, but wow.
So next we'll come into UFOs.
UFOs.
And we've got one story here. It's a celebrity story.
Ooh.
Michael Sheen recounts UFO sightings over Port Talbot. And there's a quote, "There's something going on."
Am I right with Michael Sheen? That's Underworld, right?
Yes.
And
I'm glad you went for Underworld first. It's Twilight, but good.
Well,
And you've gone for the right one.
Look, I'd said it so you'd know. Because if I said Twilight, you'd be like, "Is he in Twilight? I don't know."
No, I know he's in it, but
Alright,
it's not his role is in Underworld.
Look, he'll always be Arrow to me. So
Arrow.
A-R-O.
That
Arrow.
is a stupid name.
Wow.
Stupid.
It's stupido.
Anyway, the source for this story is the Evening Standard. Welsh actor Michael Sheen has shared his experiences with paranormal activity, revealing that he saw UFOs in his hometown of Port Talbot as a child. Speaking on the Scarred for Life podcast, Sheen recalled an incident from his youth when his typically level-headed neighbour told his parents she had seen a UFO, or seen UFOs, plural.
Oh.
Soon after, he had his own sighting, explaining, "I must have been about 12. I was coming home from school. As I was about to turn to go up the drive to my house, to my right was the edge of the mountain, and just as I turned, I saw something come along the edge of the mountain off in the distance. So I stopped, and then this light came out, and then 2 lights behind it, then 3 lights behind it, a sort of phalanx of lights coming from behind the mountain and floating out over the sea. As I'm standing there, I'm thinking, I think those are UFOs. I'm fairly certain those are UFOs. I thought, I have to go in the house and tell my family that there are UFOs out here, but I knew if I went in, they might disappear. So I just stood there transfixed, and I watched them come all out over the ocean, and then they stopped, and then they all disappeared." Years later, his father also claimed to have spotted UFOs in Port Talbot, and Sheen, who returned to live in the town in 2024, noted that others in the area have reported similar sightings. And then years later, now we're getting to about 10 years ago, it was New Year's Eve, and my dad went upstairs to my mum and dad's bedroom, he shared. It had gone midnight, but he sort of wanted to see if he could see some fireworks because he was looking out across the town. And he said he saw something in the sky above Port Talbot that wasn't just a light. At first he thought it was fireworks. It was pulsating lights floating, and he thought, I'm seeing something extraordinary, and obviously this will be on the news tomorrow and people will be talking about it. And nobody did. I've since heard that people have seen things in Port Talbot, so I think there's something going on there.
Wow.
And that's what he has to say.
That actually made me think of when I was a kid, where me and my mates all were like convinced we'd seen UFOs. And this changed my whole fucking life. This were like, oh my God. And the same sort of thinking, right? We're like, this is going to be on news because we can't be the only ones seeing it. So in Leeds, council estate, me and my mates playing out in the street, and we see this like shining light in the sky. And it is not a plane, it's not a helicopter, whatever, and it is moving so smoothly, but so slowly. Well, from where we are, it's like very far away we can see. And then another 2 appear, And we're like, what the hell? And we actually followed it, like, up the street. Because the street that I grew up on, it's a really long street both ways. And we're, like, bang in the middle. We went all the way to, like, the top of the street. And we're like, this is UFOs. And my mates were all over it. We had, like, binoculars and everything. We're like, what the hell? That's definitely UFOs. And I go running into the house. I tell my dad. And you know my dad. My dad's all about aliens. And he's like, oh, it can't be. Like, really?
You have that one chance and you don't believe it.
Yeah, like, are you joking? You are the one person in the world that I can tell and you would believe me, and you do not believe me. And I remember it so vividly, and it was such an exciting moment. And I remember us like chasing him and being like, what are we going to do? Because like my point of reference was like War of the Worlds. Like, I was like, no thank you. So I was quite scared. I was like, oh, everyone's going to be talking about this. And then it never happened again, right? Well, no one ever talked about it. And I was like, what about that? I thought we'd hear about it. Yeah. And we didn't. And then one time it was like just me and my brother out, and this was like a few years later. And I'm like, there's another one. And I'm saying to my brother, like, don't you remember when we were chasing him as kids? And I don't know if my brother was actually there or not.
Right.
It was like, I don't think it is. Upon reflection, it was those foil helium balloons.
Right.
Like, it was most definitely the sun, because it was in the daytime, it wasn't at night.
Right, it wasn't at night.
So it was like definitely like the sun reflecting off them.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain it might have been UFOs,
UFO.
but I also don't know if my friends actually believed it was UFOs,
or if they,
because they were the sort of people that would sort of, much like my dad, would goof on me and then not ever clarify that they were goofing, which I don't agree with. If I'm goofing on someone, I always come clean about it, because like my dad has let me believe some pretty strange things that he's forgotten he's told me as a child. And then I've like brought it up, and I'm like, well, no one ever mentioned it. It never came up in conversation with people. I could have made a right tit of myself for believing that.
You did?
I did.
When you told me you thought you had to hunt pizza.
Okay, I know, but I already knew.
Sure you did?
No.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, because
I believe you,
Sam,
honest.
I remember the moment that I said that to someone and embarrassed the fuck out of myself. We used to have a seesaw in my back garden, and my neighbour, a friend from school who lived round the corner, came round, and we were on the seesaw, and we played a game where it was each time one of us was in the air, we'd name an animal. So we're naming animals each time, and I'm like, pizza. So when I was a kid, my dad told me that pizzas were shot in the wild. They were hunted down, and that's how we got our pizza on a Friday, because we had pizza Fridays. And I was a child, and why would I not believe my dad? He didn't say he was joking. He didn't laugh. He said it ever so seriously. So I just took it as law, really. So yeah, me and my friend are on this seesaw. We're naming animals. I get up. I say pizza. And she's like, oh, are we doing food now? And I went, no. Still animals. And she told me. She went, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, my dad says, and you know what? Do you know what hurts even more?
What?
My dad has no recollection of ever telling me such a thing.
Why would he remember saying such nonsense?
He's gaslighting me.
But the thing is, okay, so we know that there's a Family Guy skit of that exact thing where they're hunting pizza, right?
This was before Family Guy.
You're saying this was before the Family Guy skit. So.
But that's when that skit came, I was like, my childhood.
So did your dad preempt Family Guy? Did he predict
Probably,
Family Guy? Did Family Guy steal his ideas? Is that why he didn't remember it? Because Seth MacFarlane stole it straight from his head?
Maybe.
Or was it actually much later in life and you're embarrassed to admit that you thought that?
No, it wasn't that. Anyway, back to what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was them foil helium balloons.
Right.
And we were just...
Was there some kind of like affair on or something?
No, there was only like 3 of them. So I'm guessing it I don't know. You never know.
Could have been a satellite instead.
Could have been. But
or 3 satellites.
But like it was like spooky. I mean, it's fun when you're a kid and you see something like that for the first time and you just believe.
Liam once told me he thought he'd seen a UFO as well.
Right.
I can't remember. He wasn't with me. He was with someone else, and they were on the moors, and they thought they'd seen something. I can't remember the details of what he said, but for some reason he was like, "Oh, that's not a plane. It's not a satellite. It's something else."
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him, and we can tell that story another time.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember all the details right now, but people be seeing stuff. People be seeing stuff.
People do be seeing stuff.
Right, that's everything for UFOs.
But I think that's very cool that he's talking about it.
Yeah.
And that it's not just him that has seen it.
Yeah, there's someone else there, yeah.
Yeah, talking about Michael Sheen again.
Oh, yeah. His dad as well.
Yeah.
And his neighbour. And apparently other people. Port Talbot must be a hotspot.
See, because, right, that's the thing, right? If I saw something and my dad didn't see it, I can't believe my dad didn't believe me. I really hope that, if I did see something now and I told my dad, he'd be like, whoa, or offer me some insight, or he'd actually believe me.
You should post on a Leeds Facebook page on this day in whatever
I
it was.
don't remember when it was. I don't even remember how old I was.
Did you see 3 UFOs?
3 UFOs in broad daylight.
Yeah. Someone might remember.
I can picture them now. It's just so jarring the way that, because when balloons go, and they go quite quickly to balloons, which makes me think maybe it wasn't, right? Because the helium balloons, they go and you see it, and then they're just tiny, they're minuscule, they're gone.
Yeah.
You see them go tiny, and they go pretty quick. These were slow, and they were sort of going sideways.
Did they didn't zip off at any one point?
They didn't
though?
zip off, no. But I think we lost them. But we were limited to our street.
You couldn't possibly have gone any further.
So we couldn't follow them all the way.
All right, that is everything for UFOs.
That is everything.
Let's move on to what is going to be the biggest area this month.
I'm ready.
Cryptozoology.
I've just smacked my bottle into me too.
That's bloody silly of you.
I'm a bit silly, aren't I?
Yeah.
Maybe the aliens did it to me.
Story 1. Man recalls being followed by Bigfoot-like creature in Pennsylvania.
It's just Marshall Erickson.
The source for this is the BFRO, also known as the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization.
Ooh.
Although this one and a couple of other stories, because when I clicked on the link for this to go to the actual news story, it's not written out like a news story. It's not telling you the story. It's just someone's uploaded their experience.
Right.
So it's a bit weirder to read. So I've read the actual story from Unexplained Mysteries instead.
Right.
So credit to the guy who does all them stories. I think it's TJ or TK something.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll find out in just one moment.
In just un moment.
In a moment, because he does them all. He bloody good work, this guy. He's doing all sorts.
Good lad.
TK Randall, that's his name.
Randall.
Thanks for your hard work, TK.
Thanks, TK.
Right, so here's the story. A raccoon hunter got more than he bargained for when he ventured into remote woodland last month. The terrifying incident, which was later reported on the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, took place over multiple days beginning on February 1st, when he had travelled to the west end of the Gamelands in 333 Gamelands west end of Gamelands 333 in Pennsylvania's Center County to hunt for raccoons. According to the man's story, on this occasion he had parked his truck at the head of Spring Creek Canyon Trail and had hiked into the woods so that he could set up his equipment. Things took a rather unusual turn, however, when he became overwhelmed with the uneasy feeling of being watched and could hear strange sounds coming from the direction of a creek nearby. Upon packing up with the intention of returning to his vehicle, he shone his light in the direction of the creek and caught sight of a strange humanoid-shaped silhouette, which disappeared after a brief moment. He didn't think much of it at the time, but things would get a lot worse on his next trip. On February 19th, he returned again, only this time he quickly found himself being followed by someone or something that was shadowing his movements. At one point, while walking along the trail, he heard a loud knock against a tree nearby, followed by the sound of something slowly but surely moving through the foliage next to him as he walked along. Then, after scanning the immediate vicinity with his spotlight, his beam caught the face of a large creature. He described it as resembling the face of King Kong from the most recent movie, but with a nose that was sharper and not as flared. Its skin was grey with wispy light grey hair, and it had pronounced brow ridge like an ape with a non-human jaw that was roundish and blocky. He estimated that the creature stood around 7 foot tall. It was extremely muscular. The entire encounter lasted mere seconds, with the creature quickly retreating back into the darkness. Terrified, the man managed to make it back to his truck without further incident. Exactly what it was he encountered that night, however, remains a total mystery. Any thoughts on that?
I was visualizing it. I was like, you know, in the story, I was like, what if it was just like 2 or 3 raccoons in a trench coat trying to get back at it?
It could be.
A raccoon hunter's a thing. Is that
Apparently
not
so.
just like pest control?
Well, I mean, it's just in America. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's crazy
They're
over there.
hunting for everything. Use them guns.
I think
Just imagine it was just like a few raccoons in a trench coat following him. No, but that's freaky though.
I'm interested. He said he estimates it to be about 7 foot tall, which is tall. Don't get me wrong. It's not inhumanly tall, and usually Bigfoot people say is like bigger than a person would grow to be.
Right.
Like Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson is about 7 foot, I think, and he's bloody tall.
He is bloody tall.
But
yeah.
he's not even the tallest person alive.
Yeah.
There are even taller people. He's, I think, the shortest one in his immediate family as well.
Wow.
Yeah, they're tall fellas.
Tall fella indeed. Oh yeah, we've seen like a video or a picture of him with his family.
So they're like, I mean, he obviously only had a quick look at it. Maybe he's wrong, but that sounds to me like it's maybe not. It just seems a bit short to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big shot tall.
But he did see.
Taller than that.
It's not often it's like just a bit of a shadowy figure in the background between trees. This time he said he saw the face of it.
Yeah.
And it was quite ape-like, King Kong-esque. So that's interesting. He got up close and personal, but then it just wandered off.
Well, maybe there's a family of them. And
Could be.
that's just one of the shorter ones.
That could be a babby.
Little babby.
Yeah. I mean, there would have to be, right, in order for it, if we were to accept it as real, it'd have to be multiple families.
Generations, yeah.
In order for it to continue being here.
Yeah.
I would hazard a guess. People see these things quite regularly in certain places, but not all the time. I would hazard a guess that if Bigfoots were real, they'd be nomadic, and they wouldn't be staying in one place, and they'd be all over the shop, in different places.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be the case, and that'd be why you go and look for them and you don't find them, because they've moved on.
Well, they were on holiday in Spain.
Maybe. I mean, is Bigfoot the same as the Yeti? Or are they different but similar?
Different but the same.
Yeah, different but same. I don't know. Unrelated. Maybe they are related. I don't know. Cousins?
Bros.
Right, so that's that story. Anything else to say about that?
No.
Okay, then. Let's move on. Witnesses report midnight encounter with Owlman on road in Illinois.
Owlman.
Owlman. That's our story 2 title.
That like them in that Rusty Lake game we played.
I don't think it's quite like that.
Okay.
The source for this is a site called Phantoms and Monsters.
Ooh.
But again, I think this is one I got straight from TK Randall.
Thanks, TK Randall.
A peculiar encounter with a very unusual creature 3 years ago left one couple desperate for answers. One recent episode of the revived Unsolved Mysteries TV show on Netflix details the phenomenon of people encountering strange winged humanoids at locations all across the United States. Now, one such incident has been submitted to Lon Strickler's Phantoms and Monsters website, which has spent years collating real-life stories of cryptozoological encounters. According to the report, a couple had been driving home in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, in June 2022 after midnight when they came across something they couldn't explain. As we got close to home, a very large winged creature landed on the road on the opposite side, the woman wrote. It was dark, but we could see that the massive wings that were larger than an SUV. The wings were spread out, and we slowed down to stop the car. They described the Owlman as being roughly humanoid in shape and around 4 to 5 foot tall. This was no bird, it was huge, and when I shone my lights on it, it shot up so fast in the tall trees and disappeared, the woman wrote. Keen to find out what they had witnessed, they turned the car around and went back to the same spot, but there was no further sign of the creature. It had completely disappeared. So what could the couple have seen that night? Was it the fabled owlman, or could there have been more conventional explanation? You decide.
Ooh.
Now, you decide.
It was an owl man.
It was the man
I've
owl.
said it. The owl of man.
So is this the same as the Mothman?
Maybe.
Where's Mothman? Well, it must be West Virginia, right? That's why it's in Fallout 76.
I was just going to say it's in Fallout 76.
So does that mean it's not Illinois? It's separate. Again, it could be the Bigfoot Yeti thing. Cousins.
Maybe.
Similar cryptids. So this one was 4 to 5 foot tall. So when she says it's huge...
For an owl.
It's huge for an owl.
Yeah.
It's not huge like the 7 foot Bigfoot. But, you know...
How big is the biggest owl?
I don't know. Alexa, how big is the biggest owl?
Here is an answer.
Sorry if we've triggered your Alexa.
That I translated. With a size of 67 centimeters and a wingspan of up to 1.80 meters. The eagle owl is the largest owl in the world.
Eagle owl. The largest owl in the world. Should I bring up a picture of the eagle owl?
Yeah, let's have a look.
If you're listening along, bring up a picture of the eagle owl and then you'll see what we're...
Yeah,
I
do
just
it
search
yourself.
eagle owl into Google and that's what we're seeing as the first picture. Okay, so
I made
that's...
a banana for scale.
Yeah, it could do with a banana, but we'll get an idea. You know, a chunky boy, but definitely not.
Yeah.
Not 5 to 6. See, that's... If you scroll down a little bit, you see a person holding him. So that's not 4 to 5 foot tall.
No.
It's big.
That is big.
It's a big owl, but it's not 4 to 5 foot tall.
Right.
So, assuming, again, like is often the case with this, assuming these people aren't lying, that's a big owl to see.
That is a big owl. I mean,
Even-
owls quite intimidating, aren't they? Like,
Even like a freak of nature, accidental mutant owl ain't going to be that big.
yeah.
So, what happened? How did this thing come into being? Did a man shag an owl?
I hope not. I really hope not.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Wild. Hang on a minute. I don't know the lore of Mothman. How did Mothman come to be?
I think Mothman was a harbinger of doom.
Lovely.
So I think Mothman is, from my understanding, is less... Some people I think consider him to be a tangible being, but it's less about him being a tangible being. He's more of a ethereal creature.
Right.
People see him and then
Gotcha.
something happens. Tragedy strikes. That
Like-
could just be the movie, though.
Yeah. That's like that bug in Practical Magic.
Yes.
The death mark beetle or something like that.
Expand.
Expand. A family of witches get cursed. And whenever they hear that little buggy beetle thing, means the hubby's gonna die. And then the hubby dies.
Oh, so they keep hearing it and he keeps dying?
No, it's through the generations.
Oh, okay. Not the same guy.
So like the OG witch for their ancestor, like she were a bit of a whore. She'd shag everyone and all. They did witch trials and that, and it turned out that all the women on the committee were wives, husbands that she'd been shagging. So they were like, yeah, hang on. And then she like magicked herself off of the noose, and she was like, bugger you lot. She buggered off to some
Well, that's the
island
thing.
on her own.
If they're going to kill you as well, it's just magic yourself.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Why would you not?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was sort of like she were like, because I think she fell in love with one of the guys and whatever, and she was like, well, none of my family will ever love again or whatever. And so then it sort of became a curse on the family. But
Classic.
they'd hear that, and then the hubbies die. And I'm
Damn.
like, well, that's defeating the purpose, the win it, because like they've already fallen in love and now they're losing the love, which is even worse.
Yeah. And that guy dies for no reason.
Yeah.
We'll just get him to go away.
Good film though.
Shall we move on?
We can do.
Okay, story 3. Fantastic Loch Ness Monster sighting reported. The first in 2025. Committed to uncovering the truth.
Yes.
Source for this one is the New York Post.
Yeah, man.
It's a Nessie business. That's the pun they've gone with.
Who's wrote this?
The New York Post.
Yeah, but I want a name.
Oh, I don't have a name for you. I didn't write that down.
We'll just say it was TK Randall again.
Go for it. Officials at a museum dedicated to Loch Ness, the world-renowned body of water in Scotland, home to the so-called Loch Ness Monster, have announced the first potential sighting of the elusive beast in 2025. Photos showing a black mass slithering underneath the chilly waters of the famous lake were handed over to the Loch Ness Centre in Inverness by a witness who spotted the spooky shape and snapped a picture as evidence. The exciting occurrence is said to have taken place over a period of several minutes, thanks to favourable weather, offering a clear view of the mysterious movements. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I keep yawning. I'm not even that tired, I just keep yawning.
We've
Anyway,
worked hard this week, that's why.
we have done. We've done all spring cleaning. Let's not get distracted here. Offering a clear view of the mysterious movements, SWNS reported. SWNS, did it tell us what that was earlier? I handed to Loch Ness Monster. No, it doesn't say what that means. So we're just gonna have to. What do you think, SWNS? You want to come up with a name?
Silly Willy's Nessie search.
All right then, let's go with that. The centre's general manager, Nagina Ishak, commenting on the event, said, "We've had numerous observations over the years, but this recent sighting has been particularly captivating. The conditions on the day of the sighting were absolutely perfect. This could very well be our first significant sighting of the year, further fueling the mystery surrounding Loch Ness and its most famous resident," she added. "As always, we're committed to solving the mystery of Nessie once and for all." Ishak assured, "Our previous collaborations allowed us to advance our research efforts significantly, and this potential sighting is a reminder that the mystery of Loch Ness is far from solved. We continue to explore every possibility and are committed to uncovering the truth," she concluded. That's the story. Shall we have a look at the picture?
Go on then.
That's the noise.
SWNS Media Group is a UK-based media company. Southwest News Service.
Oh, so it's not Silly Willy Nessie search.
No, but I think it should be. That's it.
This is the picture. I'll put these in the description, so the link to this, so you can, the timestamps and a link for this, so you can have a look for yourselves. There's a big red circle around it. Do you see it?
I do see it, but
Nessie?
nah.
You don't think this one's Nessie?
I'm very disappointed with this one.
I think a video might have been more helpful, because
Yeah.
this is a still image, but apparently it was moving around underneath. So a
Right.
video might have given a better idea of...
Oops, sorry.
There goes the biscuit tin.
I've broke everything.
A video might have given a better idea of scale.
Yeah.
A banana would also
a
help.
banana would have helped.
We can zoom in. There you go. That better?
No,
No.
not any better. No.
All right.
It's just bigger now.
Yeah. So, yeah. Otters, eels, I don't know. There's something under there.
Yeah.
There's a shadow there for a reason. There's something under the water. Not sure that it's necessarily Nessie.
Necessarily.
Could be Nessie, though.
Necessarily.
But that's the first Nessie sighting of 2025.
We get it.
Very exciting. We're off to a good start. Let's get some more of them. A little head peeking out. That'd be good.
Oh, that'd
Someone
be cute.
could take a picture of that.
A video.
A video would be nice too.
Mhm.
No AI, please.
Mm.
Anything else to say about that before we move on?
No, I was a bit disappointed with that picture though.
Damn. Story 4.
I'm ready.
Photo of mystery animal that looks a little bit wrong and a little bit right baffles Florida wildlife group.
Heyo. A little bit wrong and a little bit right. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, let's find out. This comes from people.com. A Florida wildlife non-profit is asking the internet for help identifying a mystery animal. The South Florida Wildlands Association, a non-profit organization dedicated to protecting Florida's Everglades, posted a photo of the unusual creature on Facebook on 14th of March. A friend sent this photo over for an ID. Captured on the trail cam in public lands in southwest Florida, the non-profit captioned the photo on social media. Later in the caption, the South Florida Wildlands Association admits that it has a strong hunch on what the critter could be, but wants to see what comes in. Looks a little bit wrong and a little bit right for a number of different species. Anyone want to venture a guess? The organisation added on Facebook. The wildlife group's photo shows a four-legged animal captured on a night vision camera. The creature appears to have a long tail, dark fur and glowing eyes. Over 200 people responded to the post, with many commenters providing their guesses about the animal's identity. Many thought the creature in the photo wasn't an exotic or strange animal at all. That's an elusive house cat, joked one commenter. It's the famous but elusive black panther found throughout the southeastern United States, but only the mini-me version. In other words, a house cat, added another.
Oh.
South Florida Wildlands Association responded to a comment that the mystery animal could be a feral cat, expressing some of their doubts. Feral cat was exactly what we thought, but the public lands where this cam shot was taken also host many bobcats as well as panthers. Would guess life expectancy for domestic cat living in the wild here would be very short. In years of hiking southwest Florida, have never encountered domestic cats in the state and federal lands, nor tracks noticeably smaller than panthers or bobcats, but doesn't mean they aren't out there. The non-profit wrote in a response to the feral cat claim. Outside of this response and another reply that stated the critter could be a canid or felid, the South Florida Wildlands Association hasn't offered more insight into their thoughts on the animal's identity. Other commenters have suggested several identities for this most recent mystery animal, including a panther, dog, and bobcat. So that's the story. So they said they had a hunch, but they never said what it was. But they say there's a reason they think it's probably not a feral cat.
Right.
Let's have a look at the picture and we'll see for ourselves.
Okay.
Again, this will be in the description for you to have a look at. There it is.
Whoa.
Does look like a cat.
Yeah.
It's got glowing eyes, but only because it's night vision.
Yeah. No banana for scale.
There's no banana, so it could be bigger than it looks, but it looks kind of normal house cat size. This is in Florida, right? So there's all sorts of wildlife there.
Oh my gosh, you are a tired boy.
No.
No.
There's all sorts of crazy exotic wildlife out there. But they have regular cats as well.
Yeah.
And as she said, life expectancy for a regular cat not very long. But it might just be long enough to come across this trail cam.
Yeah.
So, who knows? What, El Chupacabra? I think the tail looks the tail looks more like a cat. You know, like if you're thinking, oh, maybe it's a dog. A Chihuahua cross or something, because the head looks like, you don't have a good view of the head, but it looks like it could be maybe Chihuahua-shaped head, but the tail doesn't look right.
No. The more that I look at it, the more it looks like a person on all fours.
You think it's a person on all fours?
No. But the more I look at it, the more it looks like that. Not the back, but the front.
Wow. That'd be something to capture.
That'd be funny. It does just look like a cat.
Yeah, I'm thinking cat, but we're not the experts. They're the Wildlife Association or whatever they're called. They'd know better than us, and they say it's not a cat. So if anyone else can identify this mysterious creature...
Mysterious.
Don't tell us, tell them. Tell us as well.
Yeah, let us know.
We might as well. Tell us, comment.
Why not?
Do our first comment.
Keep it to yourself.
Please. Okay, any thoughts before we move on?
Nope, I'm ready. Next one, let's go.
Let us go. Story 5. Strange video shows shadowy four-legged creature in Argentina.
Oh.
Yes. The source for this is a site called Chronica, if it's pronounced like that. Again, I think this is one I had to use T.K. Randall's story for because it wasn't in English.
Okay.
So, let's go. A clip out of Buenos Aires this week has sparked rumours of demons and other weirdness. The short and blurry clip, which has been doing the rounds on social media recently, shows what appears to be a street or garden in Argentina where a strange, dark-coloured creature can be seen shuffling towards a camera on all fours, while several dogs wander about in the background. This creature, whatever it is, seems to have disproportionately long limbs, but it is pretty much impossible to make out any details due to the dark conditions and poor quality footage. According to local reports from the area, the sighting occurred in the town of Saladillo, where residents are said to have been consumed by fear of the creature's presence. Witnesses have described it as demonic with inhuman agility that enables it to climb walls and jump between trees. One local fire officer, who wished to remain anonymous, maintained that something was going on. He's something big, another witness said. He doesn't walk on all fours, he walks backwards, he's disjointed, he comes apart, his head is upside down while his body moves in an impossible way. You can check out the footage for yourself below. Could there be something genuinely strange going on, or is this simply a person pulling a prank? You decide.
That sounds freaky.
So I'm going to put this footage, this YouTube link in the description. Watch along with us. Let's open it up and have a look, see what we think. Ooh. There's a little bit of audio. I don't know, they'll be particularly loud, but let's have the audio anyway. There you go.
Wow. That's someone messing about, innit?
I mean, you were talking about looking at that cat thinking it was a person on all fours. I think this is a person on all fours.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a dog next to it, right?
Yeah, that's what, when they mention the dogs, and I'm like, the dog's not freaking out?
That dog doesn't seem fussed. Those dogs are barking, but that one's right next to it. It doesn't seem fussed.
Yeah. Well, my dog's getting my face when I'm doing a bloody workout.
In terms of scale, it does look like the size of a person compared to a dog.
Yeah.
He's got like his hands
And it's
pointed inwards like that.
The back being up.
Yeah. The
ass in the air.
ass is in the air because it's supposed to be upright. I'm fairly certain that's a person in a morph suit or something.
The arms are quite skinny though.
Could be a skinny person.
Lanky people.
The person I'm sure is quite tall.
Yeah.
They're not a stocky build, but I don't know. I think that. But then again, maybe it's not, because that's why it's supposed to look unsettling, right? Is because it's not a person. It's not supposed to move like that. Something that goes on all fours shouldn't really look like that.
Yeah.
So it's either something that shouldn't exist, or it's a person playing a prank.
I've seen too many of them videos where people do that creepy run, like to scare people, like in shops and stuff. So I think it's a person. That's just me though, and I am not a skeptic.
Scaring people in shops.
Yeah, it's what they do.
It's what they do.
That's how it be.
Well, that's our thoughts on that. If you guys watched that video, give us your thoughts as well.
Did it give you chills?
Maybe you see something else in it that we didn't see, but to us it looks like a person in a morph suit. But maybe go into it. Forget I said that, and then watch it and
forget
I said it.
Wipe your memory before you watch it.
And tell us what you think unbiasedly. All right, let's move on to the next story. Story 6. Did the National Weather Service capture a photo of Bigfoot during a Pennsylvania storm survey?
Ooh.
This is from Fox Weather. Meteorologists with the National Weather Service say they never know what they'll encounter during a storm survey, and while it's not unusual to come across something unexpected, discovering a mysterious creature lurking in the background of one of their photos certainly makes for a memorable experience. During a recent investigation into damage caused by severe weather, something unusual was spotted beyond a fallen tree. The appearance of what many refer to as Bigfoot. The sighting occurred in Fayette County, Pennsylvania, an area nestled within the hills and the higher terrain on the Allegheny Mountains north of West Virginia. The figure appeared to be human-sized, if not larger, as it walked through the wooded landscape, but according to an NWS meteorologist, there is no need to worry, as what was spotted was likely something purposely staged to add a bit of fun to people's lives. So they reckon it's not a legit Bigfoot. Someone's seen them doing this, dressed up as Bigfoot, to have a little laugh. So let's have a look at the picture. Again, it will be in the description for you. Here it is.
Is that it over there? Yeah.
That's him.
Get that pinch to zoom going.
Mm-hmm.
Get right in there.
There he is. That's Bigfoot.
Lanky people.
Does look like an ape. I'll give it that.
Bit scrawny though.
Scrawny, but it could be a hungry Bigfoot.
Could be on cut.
Could be on a cut. There's no banana for the scale. Every time, people, please.
People, please.
Start including... Oh! There's a person.
We both saw him at the same time. Oh, that was scary. That was scarier than Bigfoot.
Now, check this out. I know he's in the background. Or if anything, he should be smaller. He looks quite a bit bigger than that real life person.
Yeah. If he's in the background, he should be smaller.
This could be that 7-foot Bigfoot because it's not inhumanly big, but that could be half-thou Julius Bjornsson on a severe cut.
On a severe cut.
In a monkey suit. You know what I mean?
That man scared the crap out of me.
But that is, yeah. They're playing off like, haha, it's not a Bigfoot. Someone's just dressed up. They could have caught legit Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You know?
And
they also caught this guy.
Man to turn around.
They're supposed to be doing a storm, like thing. It doesn't look very stormy. Although this tree has come down.
Oh,
it must be after the storm.
Maybe.
It's nearly wrecked this house, but it's just missed it. It looks like. Number 364. If anyone knows exactly where that is, and if you've seen Bigfoot in that area, tell us if that's him.
Yeah, and who that man is, because that scared me.
Who that man?
What if there was no man there, and this is also a ghost picture?
It's a Bigfoot and a ghost picture. Oh my god!
And what's that over there? A UFO.
It's the Holy Grail. So yeah, let us know what you think about that. Put your thoughts in the comments.
In the comments.
Let's move on again
Please,
to story number 7. Sightings of the legendary Mokele-mbembe dinosaur of the Congo are increasing. What is going on?
What's going on?
This comes from IFL Science, which stands for I flipping love science.
Flipping love it.
Okay, let's read this one. I think this one waffles on a bit, but
right.
We'll see where we get
Bit
to.
of a waffler. Increasing
numbers of people in Central Africa are claiming to have seen a mysterious creature known as the Mokele-mbembe, the dinosaur of the Congo. But are we about to discover a hitherto unknown species, or is there something else going on? Mokele-mbembe is a legendary creature said to inhabit the remote forests, swamps, and rivers of the Congo Basin, the planet's second largest rainforest and a vital ecosystem in Central Africa. The name itself means one who stops the flow of rivers in the Lingala language, and it is described as resembling a sauropod, a long-necked dinosaur, and is thought to be the size of something like an elephant, hippo, or rhinoceros, depending on who you ask. The story of the Mokele-mbembe was first told to European explorers in the early 20th century, and it became a stock feature for the popular idea of long-lost dinosaurs living in the deep forests of the continent. The continent. Ever since the 1950s, Western cryptid enthusiasts, inspired by the works of cryptozoological works of Bernard Heuvelmans and his followers, as well as the romantic stories like Henry Francis in 1908, like Henry Francis's 1908 book, The Last Haunt of the Dinosaur, were excited by the prospect of there still being enclaves where the terrible lizards still exist. In many ways, popular works of fictions like Jurassic Park have kept this flame alive into the 21st century. Despite the enthusiasm for the strange dinosaur of the Congo, sightings of it became increasingly less common throughout the last century. However, this seemed to be changing. According to National Geographic, people living in the basin have apparently been seeing the mysterious creature with more frequency. So what's going on here? Well, to those who believe there could be a dinosaur out there, the uptick in sightings will likely be greeted by excitement. However, it is likely these encounters are more a symptom of the changing environment. As devastating deforestation in the Congo Basin continues, it lost 23 million hectares of forest between 2000 and 2016. Animals are being forced out of their habitats and are bumping into humans more frequently. And humans, as we know, are apt to make identification mistakes or to superimpose features of their imaginations onto what they see, especially if local stories are prime for them to believe for something specific. This is not to say that the Congo forests are not home to a new species of animal, but the prospect of some missing dinosaur is pretty unlikely. Everyone loves a good cryptid story, regardless of whether you think the beastie in question really can be out there or not. As we know, there is much of our planet that we are still exploring, so the possibility of discovering some unknown species that has eluded us is a thrilling prospect. especially in a world that can sometimes feel mundane, disenchanted, and increasingly small. It's possible that this sense of wonder or the possibility of cryptids offers some relief from this feeling. Of course, that is not to say that some previously fabled creatures have not turned out to be real. The giant squid, Komodo dragons, platypuses, and even gorillas were all once thought to be the product of hearsay before they were confirmed and incorporated into our understanding of the natural world. So that's the story. They're not saying they're not giving us any of these new actual sighting experiences, like first-hand ones, but as they point out themselves, there was lots of big animals that were once thought to be myth and then proven to be real, and the Congo being deforested is pushing creatures out of their normal habitat. Again, it could be misidentification. Of course it could. Of course it could. But not. They provided no reason why it couldn't be. I mean, there's a reason people believed Mokele-mbembe could be real, and it's because the natives who live there, who know the animals that live there, and are adept at recognizing them, specifically said, no, this is different to the normal fare. This is something else. So if they're seeing it and saying, no, we're seeing this more, it probably is because of deforestation.
Yeah.
But who's to say that it's just a normal animal? Who's to say it isn't? As we've talked about before, a living dinosaur now, we're not... I mean, some people might, but generally speaking, the way I see it is, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't look the same. It's been millions of years. It will have evolved and adapted to its natural environment, but it would still be distinct from something else. There'd have to be enough of them for it to survive, but it wouldn't have to necessarily be a big population of them. It could be reduced, quite a small amount of them, but just enough for them to keep ticking over. Yeah. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. Ultimately, probably not. But I think it's interesting that the sightings of Mokele-mbembe are on the rise. And every now and then, there is a Wikipedia page for it, and every now and then you'll see that people are trying to do expeditions to find it. I don't remember when the last one was, but it's not exactly unheard of. Yeah. We can search. We can go Mokele-mbembe.
That's him typing, by the way.
That was me typing. I'm going onto the Wikipedia page to have a look at when the last expedition was. Ooh, it doesn't do that thing. Oh, it's on the side, that's why. I was like, why is it not doing that thing where you expand sections? But that's just the mobile version.
Lol.
In 2018, Lensgrave of Nothenborg, Adam Christopher Nuth, along with the film crew from Danish radio and a DNA scientist, travelled to Lake Tele in Congo in search of Mokele-mbembe. They did not find the cryptid. However, they found a new species of green algae.
Cool.
So it's cool they found some, but even as recent as 2018, people are still going down there to look for it. Yeah. So, and like, when they go for these expeditions, they get funding. So it's not like a couple of people like, oh, we want to have a look. Let's just head there. They want to have a look, and then they ask people for funding to go find it. So they're getting people with enough money to fund those kind of expeditions and convincing them it's worth us going down there to have a look for this thing. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm just saying, as far as the living dinosaurs, I think Mokele-mbembe is one of the more likely ones. Yeah. What do you think?
I reckon so.
Yeah.
Might be more recent sightings because of the new Jurassic film.
Could be. I'm sure that will bring a certain level of hype to the idea.
Yeah.
Do you believe the sightings?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think I do, yeah.
Would you believe the natives if you went to the Congo and they're like, oh, we've seen this thing, it looks, and you pointed at it, showed a picture of dinosaurs and they pointed at one, oh yeah, it looks like that one. Would you believe them, or do you think they're just having you on?
They might be having me on.
They could be, but what benefit would they have? Is it just for fun?
For fun.
Just for fun.
People love winding me up. That's where we return to my dad's story about the pizza.
Your dad's wind-up story, yeah. Well, that's
it for cryptozoology.
That's it for cryptids. That's the Mokele-mbembe update for you.
Very nice.
If you're going on an expedition to look for Mokele-mbembe, let us know. Mm-hmm. I want to see that.
I'll see
it. We do have a couple of other stories.
Okay.
2 or 3 of them. I can't remember exactly, but not too many. Mm-hmm. Let's have a look at this first one, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
This is story 1 for other. Is our universe trapped inside a black hole? This James Webb Space Telescope discovery might blow your mind. So you might have seen this one going around recently.
Maybe.
This
Maybe
made
not.
the rounds. This story, I've seen this a couple of times. The source is Live Science.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one does waffle on for a bit. So there may come a point where I just give up reading it because
Just get the key highlights.
we'll see. But we'll make a start and see how it goes. Without a doubt, since its launch, the James Webb Space Telescope has revolutionized our view of the early universe. But its new findings could put astronomers in a spin. In fact, it could tell us something profound about the birth of the universe by possibly hinting that everything we see around us is sealed within a black hole. The $10 billion telescope, which began observing the cosmos in the summer of 2022, has found that the vast majority of deep space, and thus the early galaxies it has so far observed, are rotating. Oopsie daisy, I scrolled down by accident. Oh, I scrolled up, actually.
You scrolled up, Sam, what are you playing at?
I don't know what's going on here. Hold on, I found my space, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Deep space and the early galaxies so far as observed are rotating in the same direction. While around 2/3 of the galaxies spin clockwise, the other third rotates counterclockwise. In a random universe, scientists would expect to find 50% of galaxies rotating one way, while the other 50% rotate the other way. This new research suggests there is a preferred direction for galactic rotation. The observations of 263 galaxies that revealed this strangely coordinated cosmic dance was collected as part of the James Webb Space Telescope's Advanced Deep Extragalactic Survey, or JADES. It's still not clear what caused this to happen, but there are two primary possible explanations, team leader Leo Shamir, Associate Professor of Computer Science at the Carl R. Ice College of Engineering, said in a statement. One explanation is that the universe was born rotating. That explanation agrees with theories such as black hole cosmology, which postulates that the entire universe is in the interior of a black hole. But if the universe was indeed born rotating, it means that the existing theories about the cosmos are incomplete. Black hole cosmology, also known as Schwarzschild cosmology, suggests that our observable universe might be the interior of a black hole itself with a larger parent universe. The idea was first introduced by theoretical physicist Raj Kumar Pathria and by mathematician I.J. Good. It presents the idea that the Schwarzschild radius, better known as the event horizon, the boundary from which within nothing can escape a black hole, not even light, is also the horizon of the visible universe. This has another implication. Each and every black hole in our universe could be the doorway to another baby universe. These universes would be unobservable to us because they are also behind an event horizon. A one-way light trapping point of no return from which light cannot escape, meaning information can never travel from the interior of a black hole to an external observer. There is a theory that has been championed by Polish theoretical physicist Nikodem Popławski of the University of New Haven. Black holes are born when the core of a massive star collapses. At its heart is matter with a density that far exceeds anything in the known universe. In Popławski's theory, eventually, the coupling between torsion and the twisting and turning of matter and spin becomes very strong and prevents the matter from compressing indefinitely into a singularity. The matter instead reaches a state of finite, extremely large density, stops collapsing, undergoes a bounce like a compressed spring, and starts rapidly expanding. Popławski explained to Space.com, extreme strong gravitational forces near this state cause an intense particle production, increasing the mass inside a black hole by many orders of magnitude and strengthening gravitational repulsion that powers the bounce. The scientists continued by adding that rapid recoil after such a big bounce would be what has led our universe to expanding universe, an event we now refer to as the Big Bang. It produces a finite period of cosmic inflation, which explains why the universe that we observe today appears at largest scales flat, homogeneous, and isotropic, Popławski said. Torsion in the gravity of an extended theory of Einstein's general relativity therefore provides a plausible theoretical explanation of a scenario. according to which every black hole produces a new baby universe inside and becomes an Einstein-Rosen bridge or a wormhole that connects its universe to the parent universe in which the black hole exists. In the new universe, according to this theory, the parent universe appears as the other side of the new universe's only white hole, a region of space that cannot be entered from the outside and which can be thought of as the reverse of a black hole. Accordingly, our own universe could be the interior of a black hole existing in another universe, Poplavsky continued. The motion of matter through the black hole's boundary, called an event horizon, can only happen in one direction, providing a past-future asymmetry at the horizon and, thus, everywhere in the baby universe. The arrow of time in such a universe would therefore be inherited through torsion from the parent universe. As for these new JWST findings, Poplavsky told Space.com it would be fascinating if our universe had a preferred axis. Such an axis could be naturally explained by the theory that our universe was born on the other side of the event horizon of a black hole existing in some parent universe. He added that black holes from stars or at the centers of galaxies are most likely globular clusters which all rotate. That means black holes also rotate, and the axis of rotation of a black hole would influence a universe created by the black hole, manifesting itself as a preferred axis. Need I go on, or are you happy with?
I'm happy with that. It's a very cool theory.
Yeah, I don't think anything else that's in that adds anything to it. It's just expanding on the same points. So obviously, it's not like they saw this new information from James Webb Telescope and were like, "Oh, we didn't even think of this." This is already a theory that had been put forward. It's a plausible; it could happen.
Yeah.
But this new evidence adds to it. So the idea that in a completely random universe, things would be turning, but it'd be fairly evenly split.
Yeah.
But it's unbalanced, and there's quite a heavy preference for the rotation to go one particular way. The theory put forth is that could be because of the influence of a black hole, which we are in, which is also turning.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yes or no?
Sure, why not?
Why not? So, I think if it turned out to be true, if somehow you're able to prove it to be true, it'd be very interesting. It would also note that just because you're in a black hole doesn't mean that everything's just done.
Yeah.
Like, things can exist within black hole, whether or not you presumably can't recross that boundary. Like, I imagine if something... So I think if we were in a black hole, if our universe was born in a black hole, it would have to have been born in the black hole. It's not like it's stuff that came out of the black hole and then got together within it.
Yeah.
It would have to have been born in it somehow. Because I think still the idea is if you try and cross the event horizon, whether you're going in or you can't go out, but either way, I think that spells doom. I don't think you can be doing that.
Yeah.
Although I'm not a scientist, so what do I know?
Who knows?
So, but if it was turned out to be true, it'd be very interesting. But for all practical purposes, it makes no difference because you can only test the observable universe, and anything outside of it is unobservable. Anything within a deeper black hole is unobservable. But it does then put forward more questions of, well, if you keep going out of black holes, hypothetically, what's the most outer universe? You know what I mean? Presumably, there's an end to it at some point.
Maybe.
Unless it loops back around. You go deep enough and you come back. But then how would you know?
How would you know?
There's a big mystery out there. Like, I know there's so much of the world is explained by science. There's so many things that were once mysteries that aren't mysteries anymore.
Yeah.
So you sort of leads you to believe, maybe there's no real mystery in life. But there is. It's just that on a much grander scale.
Yeah.
Or a much smaller scale, depending on how you look at it. But all of our, I wouldn't say all, but a large portion of our day-to-day things are very well explained. So it kind of takes a lot of mystery out of the world, but there's loads of mystery in there. It's just that, like I say, it's on such a scale that our ability to comprehend it is limited.
Yeah.
We weren't really born to be figuring this stuff out. We're just managing some of it anyway.
Yeah.
So what do you think then? Would you be scared to have been born in a black hole?
I'm not bothered.
You're not fussed?
No.
Imagine that you're in a black hole and you go through a black hole and the black hole like stretches you thin and yet you're still that small.
That's not funny.
You think you would have stretched you longer?
Don't you bring my height into this.
Anything else to say before we move on?
No. Not now. You've insulted me.
All right, story. Oh, I've written story 8, but it's actually story 2 for other. I think I was getting confused.
You've
with
confused
cryptozoology.
yourself there, love.
You may have seen this one making the rounds as well.
Maybe.
Scientists say they've discovered a vast city underneath Egypt's Giza pyramids, but experts raise concerns.
I did not see that.
You haven't seen it?
Mm.
Source for this is the Daily Mail. Obviously, we watched Mr. Beast's Egypt video
His advert.
the other month. Yeah, the advert for the video that never came. And that didn't impress us particularly. So we were kind of off the Egypt mysteries from there, but maybe this can bring us back on board. Let's have a look. A groundbreaking discovery beneath the Egyptian pyramids has taken the world by storm. Italian researchers claim to have uncovered a vast underground city which stretches more than 4,000 feet directly underneath the pyramids of Giza, making them 10 times larger than the pyramids themselves. The bombshell claim, which many experts claim to have already debunked, comes from a study that used radar pulses to create high-resolution images deep into the ground beneath the structures, the same way sonar radar is used to map the depths of the ocean. The paper, which has not been peer-reviewed by independent experts, found 8 vertical cylinder-shaped structures extending more than 2,100 feet below the pyramid, and more unknown structures 4,000 feet deeper. A press release described the findings as groundbreaking, and if true, could rewrite the history of ancient Egypt. However, independent experts have raised serious concerns about the study. Professor Lawrence Conyers, a radar expert at the University of Denver who focuses on archaeology, told Daily Mail that it's not possible for the technology to penetrate that deeply into the ground, making the idea of an underground city a huge exaggeration. Professor Conyers said it's conceivable that there are small structures, such as shafts and chambers beneath the pyramids, that existed before they were built because the site was special to ancient people. He highlighted how the Mayans and other people in ancient Mesoamerica often built pyramids on top of entrances to caves or caverns that had ceremonial meanings to them. The work by Corrado Malanga from Italy's University of Pisa? I don't know. And Egyptologists Armando May and Filippo Biondi with the University of Strathclyde in Scotland has only been released during an in-person briefing in Italy this week and is yet to be published in a scientific journal where it would need to be analysed and by independent experts. Despite the skepticism, Professor Conyers added that the only way to prove the discoveries to be true would be to target excavations. Targeted excavations, sorry. My take is that as long as authors are not making things up and their basic methods are correct, their interpretations should be given a look by all who care about the site, he explained. We can quibble about interpretations, and that is called science, but the basic methods need to be solid. He also told Daily Mail that he could not tell if the technology used actually picked up hidden structures below the pyramid. They are using all kinds of fancy proprietary data analysis software, said Professor Conyers. The Giza complex consists of 3 pyramids, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, built 4,500 years ago on a rocky plateau on the west bank of the Nile River in northern Egypt. Each was constructed in the name of a pharaoh. The northernmost and oldest of the group was built for Khufu, also known as the Great Pyramid. This structure is the largest of the 480 foot tall and 750 foot wide at its base. The middle pyramid was built for Khafre, which the team studied, and Menkaure is the southernmost and last built of the group. Malanga is a ufologist. What's he doing there? And has appeared on YouTube shows about aliens where he has discussed his more than a decade-long career of studying UFO sightings in Italy. Biondi, on the other hand, specialises in radar technology, and May is a researcher in pre-dynastic Egyptology. Malanga and Biondi's published a separate peer-reviewed paper in October 2022 in the scientific journal Remote Sensing, which found hidden rooms and ramps inside Khafre, along with evidence of a thermal anomaly near the pyramid's base. The new study used similar technology but got a boost from a satellite orbiting Earth. The new radar technique works by combining satellite radar data with tiny vibrations from naturally occurring seismic movements to construct 3D images of what lies beneath the surface of the Earth, without doing any physical digging. Nicole Cicolo, or Kiscolo? I don't know. The project spokesperson said, a vast underground city has been discovered beneath the pyramids. The groundbreaking study has redefined the boundaries of satellite data analysis and archaeological exploration. She shared a short clip of the press briefing held on March 15th, saying the full video of the event will be released on March 25th. The cylinder-shaped structures with Cicolo referred to as shafts were arranged in 2 parallel rows and surrounded by descending spiral pathways. Cicolo said the cylinder structures were found underneath each of the 3 pyramids and appeared to serve as access points to this underground system. The team explained the system as other chamber-like structures interconnected under all 3 of the pyramids. The existence of these vast chambers beneath the Earth's surface, comparable in size to the pyramids themselves, which have remarkably strong correlation between the legendary halls of Amenti, Cicolo said. These new archaeological findings could redefine our understanding of the sacred topography of ancient Egypt, providing spatial coordinates for previously unknown and unexplored subterranean structures, she added. The news has gone viral this week, with X flooded with posts about the potential discovery. Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna shared a post about the structures on her X page. The team plans to continue their research through 2025. A mouthful that, but there you go. So, what do you think? Do you think there is a big structure?
Maybe. It'd be cool.
It would be cool. So they've done some ground penetrating radar, somehow assisted by a satellite. This separate independent expert claims that radar cannot penetrate as deep as they're saying.
Right.
So the question is, are they just lying?
Maybe.
Which would be quite a thing to do. Or have they found something and they're expanding a bit far?
Right.
Or is he wrong and they are able to penetrate that deep?
Yeah.
You know? I'd find it hard to believe that they would just be straight up lying.
Yeah.
I could understand maybe extrapolating it a bit far and exaggerating what your finds might be, but them saying they found spaces underneath the pyramids, I can believe that. Like he says, though, if people were building these kind of sites on like caves, on top of cave entrances and what have you, it wouldn't be then surprising for there to be some kind of space underneath.
Yeah.
But I think they're saying there's like shafts down and then interconnected things in such a way that the way they're describing it makes it sound like it's not a natural formation. But it could be multiple cave entrances that do interconnect underground. So it could be that. You kind of need to see the layout of what it found to know whether or not it seemed natural or like man-made or whatever. What do you think, if it's real, hypothetically, if say it's real, what do you think they might be using it for?
I have no idea, Sam.
Bearing in mind, they would be going down there presumably before the pyramids were built. So more than 4,500 years ago.
Don't know.
What do you think they might get up to?
Shenanigans, probably.
They don't have discos.
No discos.
No discos, so something else.
Walk like Egyptians down there. They might listen to the Bangles down there.
I don't think the Bangles were around.
I'm pretty sure they were.
I don't think they were. They haven't been around since the beginning of time.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, I don't think they were.
Nah. Defo listening to the Bangles under there being like, this song's about us.
I won't lie to you. I want to be more into
I want to believe
Egypt mysteries. But I don't know. I know the pyramids are a bit mad, but other than that, I don't think there's much. It's just an old place.
No. Yeah.
I don't think it was all that. They could have got a lot done with all the slaves they had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Every time we talk about Egypt, I just think of that episode of Futurama.
Which one?
The one where they build a giant Bender statue. Bender the robot.
I know, yeah. I don't remember it.
You don't remember it?
I don't think
And he's
so.
like, remember me. And then like flames come from his eyes or something.
Nice.
not seen that one. It's
I
a good
probably have seen
episode.
it. I
It's a
just-
very good episode.
Just don't remember.
So instead of freeing the slaves, Bender's just like, nah, mate,
Yeah.
I'm your ruler. Build me a statue.
Would you be ruled by Bender? Would you allow Bender to rule?
Yeah, it's a good time, innit?
Yeah, it's all right. What about Flexo?
Nah, absolutely not.
not with that
He
little
can do
goatee.
one. Not with that stupid goatee. People with goatees, no thanks. Stay away from me. Es no bueno.
All right.
Oh, sorry, Sam.
I do
didn't
apologise.
realise.
I've just knocked the microphone, then you had a loud bang.
Oh, I've already done it like 4 times this podcast.
You
but
should apologise 4 times.
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Good.
Good. It's
Right.
because of these stupid little hats the microphones
wearing
are
little
wearing.
Okay, let's go on. Let's have our last story now.
Oh, we've still got one more. Wow, we got a lot.
This is our finale
The
story.
finale.
And this one is close to home.
Close to home. How close?
Well, it's in UK.
Hey up.
Here is the last story.
Okay.
Quest to solve the mystery of town's eggy smell.
Which town?
Well, you're going to find out.
Because I tell you what, right now, Leeds has got an eggy smell.
Is it
Yeah,
stank?
yeah. It's only when we're walking, when I've finished my shift and me and Chris are walking to the train station. You're walking down where past Trinity and there's that soap shop.
All right.
And I always think when I'm walking down past it, makes the soap smell disgusting because you've got